Happy Tuesday. Thanks so much for starting your afternoon with us here on THV11. I'm Michael Aaron with meteorologist Nathan Scott. We both got the sweater memo to get
Welcome
today.
Welcome to class. That's what it feels like. We're professors.
Yes. Professor Feeney, if you're familiar with Boy Meets World,
yes.
that's who I am emulating today. Hopefully you got the sweater memo too, because it's cold. Even more so, that wind is something else.
The wind adds a bite to the air. This morning, it was definitely winter coats, hats, gloves, all required before you stepped outside. Look at the numbers we start off the day with. Temperatures into the upper 20s, even some mid 20s in some spots. There you see it, 26 in Russellville, 27 in Conway, woke up to 31 in Stuttgart, 32 in Arkadelphia. Now we've seen plenty of sun in most central Arkansas this morning, but low clouds lingering down into South Arkansas. Everybody still on the cool side into the mid 40s across the region, still 37 in Harrison, but we talked about that wind. The wind from the east about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so it feels like 39 here in Little Rock, feels like 39 in Searcy. You want to pay attention to the numbers in the purple boxes because that is the wind chill. We'll see increasing clouds throughout the day, temperatures topping out only into the upper 40s, maybe low 50s if you're lucky, and we'll continue to see warmer temperatures going up into the extended forecast. I'll have more on that and our next chance of rain coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Arkansas lawmakers are back at the Capitol this afternoon for another special session. This time around, they're discussing Governor Asa Hutchinson's plan to cut Arkansas's state income tax. Representatives and senators briefly met this morning before adjourning. Discussions will pick back up this afternoon in several committee meetings. The governor's bill looks to lower the top tax rate for individuals from 5.9 to 4.9% over the next 4 years. It would also combine the low and middle income tax tables and provide a tax credit for people who make less than $24,700 a year. We'll have much more on the plan in today's discussions tonight at 5 and 6. Attorneys for Josh Duggar are now making their case as the former reality TV star's child pornography trial continues in Northwest Arkansas. The prosecution rested its case on Monday. The defense then examined its own digital forensics expert. Last week, the judge told jurors they could have the case in their hands as early as today. We'll, of course, keep you updated. It's going to be a busy afternoon at the state capitol while lawmakers continue discussing that proposed tax cut plan we were just talking about. Governor Asa Hutchinson will give us an update on the fight against COVID-19. And that comes as cases and hospitalizations spike right here in Arkansas. So here's a look at the first week of December. We're averaging just under 840 new cases per day. That is nearly double what we saw in the first week of November, when the state averaged about 430 daily cases. Right now, 452 Arkansans are fighting the virus from a hospital. That is up by more than 50% in the last month. The governor notes that about 88% of people hospitalized with COVID are unvaccinated. He says this should, quote, serve as a motivator to get vaccinated. And don't forget, you can watch the governor's COVID update on thv-at-noon and on the THV11 YouTube channel. It's set for 1:30, so just less than about 90 minutes away now. We'll have a recap tonight at 5 and 6. Right now, there are still no confirmed cases of the Omicron variant in Arkansas. Scientists are working around the clock to learn more about this newest strain of the COVID virus. It's still unclear when and even if it could hit harder than the Delta variant. Early data shows that Omicron produces mild symptoms at worst, but no hospitalizations. Still, Dr. Anthony Fauci says now is not the time to underestimate the new variant.
We really got to be careful before we make any determinations that it is less severe or really doesn't cause any severe illness comparable to Delta.
That new variant has been detected in at least 18 states, including 3 states that border Arkansas. And again, we'll have more from the governor's press conference and the detection of Omicron here in Arkansas, if that is certainly the case, coming up tonight at 5 and 6. A major British study says mixing COVID-19 vaccines could give you better protection against the virus. Many Americans are already doing this. Ian Lee breaks down that new study.
New research out of the UK reveals mixing vaccines could be your best defense against COVID-19.
And we found really good immune responses across the board.
A University of Oxford study of more than 1,000 volunteers showed those who received a first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, followed by a second shot of Moderna 9 weeks later, saw a boost in immunity compared to just getting the same vaccine twice.
And we're showing there is flexibility. You don't have to stick rigidly to receiving the same vaccine for a second dose.
While the spread of new COVID variants like Omicron is putting pressure on countries around the world to speed up vaccination campaigns, Europe's top drug regulator says mixing vaccines could help.
Overall, it seems that this strategy is something that all type of vaccine could be benefiting from, and indeed different combination would still be extremely valuable.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved the mixing and matching of booster vaccines in the U.S. Some European countries like Spain and Germany are mixing the initial doses too.
Looking forward, if we want to target what's going to generate the best antibodies or the best T-cell response, these studies are providing a wealth of information that will really inform the science of this new approach to vaccines.
A mix and match method, scientists say, is not just effective, but safe too. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Researchers say the findings that support flexible dosing will give hope to poor countries, which may need to combine different brands if supplies run low. Another health concern that doctors are keeping an eye on: flu season. Right now, cases are low in Arkansas. However, there's growing concern that a spike could come after the holidays. The flu season typically goes from the end of the year to mid-March. We spoke with an internal medicine doctor at UAMS. He typically starts looking for an uptick in flu symptoms 2 or 3 weeks after Thanksgiving, which is right now. Last year was an anomaly in a lot of different ways because of the pandemic. But according to that doctor, that's not necessarily the case right now.
Like we're seeing an increase in COVID cases right now, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we don't start seeing an increase in flu cases.
Health experts suggest people stay home if they're sick and, above all, get vaccinated for both flu and COVID-19. Today is the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It was December 7, 1941, when Japan carried out a surprise strike on U.S. military bases on Oahu. Shortly before 8 that morning, hundreds of airplanes attacked, some of them flying no more than 40 feet above the ground. John Dickerson takes a look back at that day that continues to live in infamy.
The sailors did the best that they could. One man rushed to his station in his pajamas.
They shot me up, but they didn't shoot me down.
Others smashed open the ready boxes to free ammunition, and everywhere sailors craned their necks looking for the source of the seemingly unending stream of planes, bombs, and machine gun fire. When the attack started, Mickey Ganich scaled 60 feet to the crow's nest of the USS Pennsylvania to spot incoming planes.
That's where I was, right up in the battle station, the crow's nest, about 70 feet up in the air.
One of the bombs carved through the Arizona, hitting the gunpowder magazine stored below. In the explosion, the hull of the 31,000-ton vessel rose out of the water, splitting and sinking to the bottom, where more than 900 sailors are permanently buried. Oil from the ship is still leaking, giving the water at the memorial a technicolor sheen. Those who have served on the Arizona and survived the attack can have their ashes interred there. 44 have done so. In all, 21 ships were either sunk or gravely damaged, some listing so badly that they sat sideways in the water.
I went topside. By the time I get topside, the ship was almost ready to capsize.
More than 2,400 United States military and civilians were killed. Around 30 survivors will return today, many of them in their hundreds, recalling the faces of mates who live in their memory as 19 forever.
I survived, so I can tell about it. A lot of people cannot. And I figure I'm honoring them by being there and showing my face.
This is likely to be the last major anniversary of their lifetimes.
People walk down the street there and they say thank you for service, and my comment is there, you were worth serving for.
According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, of the 16 million who served in World War II, roughly 240,000 are still living. John Dickerson, CBS News, Pearl Harbor.